This course on seasonal Qigong is, Qigong is the biggest part of the course, but in fact it's not just a course on seasonal Qigong, it's a course on living harmoniously with the seasons. Part of Qigong is your mental attitude, your behavior during the times when you're not doing Qigong. That's also a Gong, or a training. So we'll be talking about the behavior that you exhibit during the season. Some of this is very obvious. I mean, obviously you put warmer clothes on in winter, you have less warm clothes in summer. Some things are less obvious, particularly in modern times where we rely on air conditioning and heating to make up the difference for us. So we tend to think we're not affected by the cold and heat in the same way as perhaps our ancestors were. But what Chinese medicine is saying is you're affected regardless, and you need to attend to certain things. So in your handout on each season, we have one for spring, one for summer, etc. There's a section that deals with the whole season where we talk about these things. So in that section, we'll also be talking about how you change your diet according to the seasons. Some of this is obvious because some things are more available in certain seasons, certain foods. However, again, in modern times, we can overcome that by shipping from distant areas of the world. But the principles of proper diet according to the season remain the same despite modern ingenuity. We also talk about ways of preventing disease in each season. So this is important because preventing disease, getting sick during the season interferes with your Qigong. The Qigong also is one way of preventing disease, but there are other methods that will be mentioned in these sections. And very important because part of correct Qigong is your mental attitude. So how do you carry that out through the rest of the season, not just in the 20 minutes you're doing Qigong, or in some cases 5 minutes that you're doing Qigong. What I'm calling the psycho-spiritual attitude of the season is covered in this general seasonal section where we talk about, for example, in spring, that you try not to be self-critical, you try to praise rather than disparage others. And it's this notion of like treating things in the outside world and your own self like a plant that needs to be nourished and cultivated as it grows in spring. Whereas that changes in summer and it changes in winter. So how do we cultivate that in times both when we're doing Qigong and throughout the day? We will also talk about some health teas that are general to each season that can help your Qigong by moving things in the right direction, or in some cases prevent you from getting the flu as a preventative. You take it once or twice a week as a preventative. So we'll talk about things like that in those sections. In the video portion of this course, we'll be dealing more with just the Qigong exercises themselves, because that part lends itself more to video, and you need to see how the exercises are done. Pictures don't quite do them justice. So there's several components to the Qigong. One is in every season there's a short 3 to 5 minute Dao Yin routine. Now Dao Yin is basically something you do in the morning or in the evening before bed, where you're seated like I am here on the edge of the bed on a chair, and you rub and massage meridians or push acupuncture points. Dao Yin means to guide or to lead or to pull. So we're guiding and leading the Qi. We're pulling the Qi on certain channels that are more active in that season or at that time of year, to keep the channels, the meridians open. And this has effects on the organs themselves. And there are different organs, as you'll read about in the handouts, that are associated with each season. So in this way, we maintain the patency, the circulation, flow of the organ. In the same way that the seasons are circulating, our organs also have a cyclical circulation, and the Dao Yin exercises help to maintain that. So ideally, this is something you would do every day, either before the other Qigong exercises or at some other point of the day, ideally when you first get up or before you go to bed. The second part is the seasonal node meditation. You can look at the video that separately explains that. It is also explained in your handouts. And that again is a meditation where a different vertebra is activated each 15-day seasonal node period. And at the beginning of that seasonal node, when the energy of that seasonal node is at its peak, when it arrives, it's at its strongest, we meditate on that vertebra. So you can watch the seasonal node vertebra to understand that more clearly. And then we have the actual exercises for each seasonal node. So these are more physically oriented. They change every approximately 15 days. Again, you can look at the almanac, the yearly almanac, to see the exact start date for that year. In general, the start dates are within a 3-day spread, and they change from year to year. So you could also just each year start, let's say, if it's between February 3rd and 5th, the beginning of spring, you could just say on every February 3rd, I'm going to do the beginning of spring exercise. And these, we will have a separate video for each one because you need to see exactly how to do them correctly. I recommend that when you get up in the morning, you do the 5-minute Dao Yin routine, and then you segue into these, the exercise for that seasonal node period. Right? So you would have the 5-minute routine and then this one exercise, and I'll explain those in individual videos.